what does India Inc. want from leaders, not just women leaders, from leaders? So this is a study that was done by Harvard Business Review in 2018, just on the Indian leadership space, right? What are this is not specific to women. This is generally for all leaders, but this is something that is a good pointer for women leaders as well. What are those areas of leadership that they need to work on to take on the challenges of being in a CXO or a MD kind of a level, right? They want leaders, the India Inc. wants leaders to give key inputs on the overall strategy, right? So understanding the pain points of an organization and understanding each and every layer. So which means networking within the organization also becomes very key. Meet other leaders in the organization. Talk to them what is happening in other areas. If I'm, if I'm a part of marketing, why should I stick to only marketing functions? Why shouldn't I know what is happening on ground? What is happening in the partner ecosystem? So networking within the organization and understanding different aspects of the business and giving key inputs wherever I can. That is an important contribution that I can make as a woman leader to the CEO or to the head of the organization. Leaders are expected to be the keepers of the organizational culture. So if I am telling something, and these are finer aspects which gets missed out many times, Ranjan, in corporates. I am telling a lot of things to my team members, but am I following them? Whether it is something as small as attendance or something as small as following a particular training schedule or a program. So there is a cultural, framework which is there in every organization, and the leader has to be the front-ending, person. Like, there's this analogy in leadership about the pack of wolves. How the wolf, in the pack of wolves, how the leader always is at the back. He follows it, but he also creates the push and the thrust in the organization and will be always the last to finish. Right. So that is keeping up the organization culture. Then being the guide, coach, and role model. So there is this book on leadership that I'm writing, I told you, right? So in that I talk about leader as a coach. Right? Leader is not about monitoring just the performance or the attendance, etc. Leader is a coach. Right? How leadership as a coaching service, right? So I think that transformation has not happened in the leadership space. Leaders playing the role of the coach and the guide and the mentors and being the role model for the employees, right? Representative of the stakeholder interests. And stakeholder doesn't mean just earlier days we were talking about shareholders. Today everybody is a stakeholder. Right? Stakeholder can be employees, families, the relatives. How do I create these employee engagement programs, partner ecosystems, agents, shareholders? Everybody is a stakeholder. Gone are those days when we were focusing only on the shareholder equity. We need to create equity for everybody, every stakeholder in an organization. Right? And women have to understand these four elements of how leadership, leadership ladder can be climbed, right? So they need to genuinely work towards these, developing these kind of skills and capabilities within them. So what are those focus areas? What are those other competencies that they can work on, right? Building that ability inside myself to see the bigger picture. Right? Not just my function and my role. Women sometimes can tend to become very, caged within their specific roles. Yes, I have a certain set of deliverables in my role, but can I also build my ability to see the bigger picture and make better contributions to the organization, right? Develop the courage and tolerance. Yes, everything sometimes may not work as per our, expectations, but can I be tolerant and work towards contributing to the organization's change management as well. For that, I need to develop my courage as well. I need to speak up. Where I have good contributions to make, I need to speak up. So the self-confidence is one area that women can definitely work on. So a lot of these elements, if you notice, Ranjan, is all about, first it starts with intrapersonal. Right. I need to work on art of prioritization. Women sometimes tend to get bombarded with a lot of conflicting priorities, right? And in that 24 hours in a day, minus 8 hours for sleep, there's only that much that a woman or any human being can get done. So how are we prioritizing our tasks? I have 10 things to do, but I may be able to get only 5 things done. So what are those 5 things that are most important? Pareto's principle we can use in life. Why does Pareto principle have to be only for business? In my prioritization of the 10 things that I want to do, I can use the art of prioritization, use Pareto's principle kind of models, and I identify what is it that I can do. I'm human being as well, right? So decision making. Get involved in the decision-making process, first as an observer, second as a mentee or as a coachee, and then as a participant. What happens in many organizations, not just for women, even sometimes for men as well, we try to jump into becoming decision makers. Right. It is important for us to get mentored, observe, get mentored and coached, and then start taking on the role of participating in decision making. For that, we need to understand the art of decision making as well, which requires time, right? It requires some mentorship and coaching. Adaptable, being flexible and adaptable to circumstances that are changing. I think pandemic has taught us all that lesson, how we need to be adaptable. All of us had a lot of things planned, right? We had to drop all those things and we had to adapt to the new way of working, new way of living. So right. Adaptability is a key human skill, not just a business or a corporate skill, right? It's a human skill. It's a life skill, actually. That is something that women can work on. Last but not the least, shun the shyness. Take initiatives, ask for help, ask for what you think you deserve, right? And, create the right kind of, steps for people in the organization to support you in the initiative that you're trying to take. So this is something that I invite women to work upon, because when I work upon, first of all, when I work upon myself, then I'll have the conviction, the confidence, and the courage to actually go and ask for what I want. Right. So this is something that in fact, how we can do this in detail, I have talked a lot about this in my book, Ranjan. What are the steps that they can take, how they need to do this, what are some of the exercises that they can do, right? This is something that we can work on. Actually, let me talk about the reason why I spoke about a lot of these areas of intrapersonal aspect and the interpersonal aspect is because this is the crux of what I wanted to share. We all work in 3 primary fields of action in life, right? We have the intrapersonal, which is what I was talking about, trying to understand and work with the elements that I have the best control over. So right. That it starts with intrapersonal, and then come the interpersonal or the social aspects. When I work on myself, when I understand what is my weakness, what is my strength, I can also work on those areas which help me build better relationships at home, in the family, and at workplace. Interpersonal is not just about workplace skills. It is a life skill again. It's a human skill. If I am having a challenge at home, and I'm having an issue with with someone at home, some dear one or a near one at home, it's definitely going to boil over and impact the way I work, or it will impact my efficiency at workplace as well. So right. Interpersonal skills are very critical, and women especially have to work on this, because women normally tend to have a little more of that emotional overture than men. Right? Which also means that women, when they work towards their emotional intelligence, they can be fantastic leaders, because, emotional intelligence today is one of the key critical leadership skill, actually, right? And then comes the professional or the entrepreneurial element, Ranjan. See, the thing is today, a lot of people are focusing on entrepreneurial or their professional journeys, going in for skills, going in for certifications, working, networking, etc. But, the first 2 elements are being neglected. So what happens is this bubble starts growing, the professional bubble starts growing, and bubbles always burst. So
Absolutely.
we have to give equal importance to all these three for them to be in balance. If we give importance to all these three, then it becomes a balanced field of action for me.
Very.
So that is something I urge and I invite all women leaders to consider as a part of their development towards bigger and higher positions in corporates,
Right.
right? Just professional skills alone wouldn't suffice, especially in today's VUCA world, right? We are all living in ambiguous, volatile, uncertain periods, right? So, working on the intrapersonal, interpersonal aspect is as important as the professional skills and the professional development.